Hello, good morning, happy Monday. I just wanted to pop on real quick. I have some client calls in just a little bit. So I wanted to come on here because I was writing a post about why you've done the work, but you're still attracting toxic men. So if this is right up your alley, you're like, what the hell? I've been doing all the things, all the work, and still attracting toxic men. Like, what is going on? So, I experienced that in my life. I know that my clients have experienced that until they go through my program. And so, if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments. And if you are here, let me turn off my sound real quick. My boyfriend's texting me. Okay. So if you are here with me, go ahead and say hi. Let me know that you are here. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay. So if you have been doing the work, you feel like maybe you've done courses, maybe you've done reading all the books, listening to the podcasts, maybe you've even done some relationship programs, you've done self-development work, and you're like, Morgan, what the hell? Like, this is still happening to me. There's a couple things, like there's a couple things it could be without knowing your personal thing, your personal experience. I couldn't really tell you exactly if this is it, but this is what I've seen for a lot of women. And so when we do the work, when we tell God, the universe, Mother Nature, that we are ready to end the toxic relationship cycle for good, we're done with toxic men, we're done with emotionally unavailable men, it's a tall order for the universe, right? And so the universe is like, all right, like she says that she wants to create the most epic love affair of her life. We're going to test that. Like God, the universe, whatever you resonate with, sends us tests. I don't know why. I don't know why we're sent tests. I don't know why this is a part of our journey, but we are. And I've been tested countless times in my life, not only in relationships, but with everything. My clients have. And I actually tell them, I'm like, you should expect to be tested. We're going to have some decoys that are thrown our way when we tell God and the universe that we are ready for epic love. They're going to send us a version of what we want that also relates to our past patterns, right? And so this is where we are saying this is what we want. We have the mindset down and we're saying, yes, this is what I want. This is what I want. And then the moment that we're sent somebody that looks kind of like what we want, we abandon our boundaries, we abandon ourselves, we start working for their love, and we're saying yes to what we just said that we didn't want. And so the way that I like to explain this to my clients is like the universe is like an algorithm, right? And so when you're saying, I want a healthy, loving man, I want a high value man, I want a committed relationship, you're saying this, but then you're saying yes to the man who is emotionally unavailable or that is, sending off alerts of red flags. Your energy is speaking louder than your words, right? And so that's why you keep attracting, despite doing the work, some of the work, part of the work. So what I teach my clients is like the trifecta is energetics, mindset, and strategy, which strategy is such a big piece because it's the behaviors that are really going to change things. So like you need to have your thoughts, feelings, or your thoughts create your feelings that create your actions that create your experiences, right? And so, yes, we need to have different high value thoughts. We need to have thoughts that are congruent with somebody that would have a high value relationship. And then we actually need to act on it. So if somebody is exuding red flags, maybe they're love bombing, and you're saying, no, I don't want any more narcissistic men. I don't want any more men who are toxic or that could hurt me. And then you're over here saying yes to this guy that's love bombing you. You see that that is just canceling this out. So it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do, right? And so this is where we have to get really, really clear on like, what are the actions that I need to take, even when it's hard, even when I want that instant gratification? Because what I like to teach is short-term discomfort for long-term gratification. And I know that that can be really hard when somebody's coming on strong, they're love bombing us, they're showing us, they're telling us everything that we want to hear. And then we're abandoning ourselves, we're crossing our own boundaries because it feels so good in the moment. And then the relationship breaks down. And then you're like, oh shit, it's been a month. And I just realized that this is another toxic guy. Have you guys gone through this? I certainly, certainly have in my past. And so this is where we have to remember that the universe is like an algorithm. So what we say yes to is what we're going to get more of, and what we say no to, we're going to get less of, right? And so, yeah, does it feel good to get love bombed? Sure. But when we notice that, when we notice this weird little ping in our stomach that's like, this doesn't feel right, instead of continuing to go with it, we need to say, you know what, this doesn't feel right. I am going to leave. And so that's how you're communicating to the universe with your actions and your energy that you want no more of the toxic and emotionally unavailable. And you do want healthy, high value, right? And so that's something that has to be practiced over time. And it's what I see a lot of being the disconnect with women who have done the work. They're like, I've done the energy work, I've done this, I've done that. Like, I know this might suck to hear, but like energy work, hypnosis, all of that is wonderful. And I love those things. And I've been a Reiki master for the last 7 years, and it's a wonderful modality. And I've done hypnosis and I've done a lot of energy work. And that's only a piece of the puzzle. We need to have the actions, the behaviors that are congruent with that. And so that's where I see a lot of people like just missing it, right? It's like you've healed a lot, you've done a lot of healing work, but then it stops there. It's like you don't follow through with the actions. And so it's like you're almost there. And there's just some micro shifts that you've got to make. And I see this with so many women. There's just some micro shifts. Okay, what would a woman who is only available for high value men do, right? What would she do instead of operating as our past self, as somebody who attracts emotionally unavailable men, says yes to emotionally unavailable men? What actions do I have to take that are different? And that's one of these major, major key pieces. But also, I see on the flip side of the coin that people are taking actions, like they're putting themselves out on dating apps, they're putting themselves out into speed dating or like in-person things, but they haven't gotten the energetics and the mindset right. Right. And so that's why I teach the three of them together, that we marry them together. And we also marry together the subconscious and the conscious, because as Carl Jung says, this is what I say all the time, he has a quote that's until our unconscious becomes conscious, it'll run our life and we'll call it fate. Right. And so we have to be able to marry those things together. So yes, you've done incredible work. You've healed a lot. You've done a lot of the things that you need to do. Maybe you've done some inner child work. Maybe you have done a lot of shadow work and all the things, but your body still operates by what it's conditioned to. So like we actually have to actively change our behaviors. It's a lot of the times it's like we'll change our mindset, but then we'll find ourselves doing these behaviors still. And we're like, wait a second, I thought I just had to do the mindset here. And so this is where we actively have to ask ourselves, what am I doing that I need to stop doing? Like physically. So if it's, you find yourself chasing men, but you've done a lot of the mindset and energetics of like, I am the prize. I am no longer going to chase men. I'm attracting better men. But then you recognize that the moment that maybe you feel a shift in the energy, you start asking him, hey, when are we hanging out? Or you start moving towards him, and then you start chasing him. That would be a behavior thing, right? And so that's where you have to sit in the void of not doing the behavior. And if you guys are resonating with this, just put it in the comments. But we have to sit in the void of the uncomfortable behavior. And so when you notice that maybe somebody starts getting distant and you're like, oh my gosh, what can I do to make them more interested in me. And then you start performing. That's an action piece, right? And so that's where, if you've done the work, but you're still experiencing this, it might be the strategy portion. It might be the strategy portion when it comes to the piece that you're missing. Because this is really important, because what we do is going to always create our reality, right? So we've got to condition the body just as we've conditioned the mind. So ask yourself, what am I doing that is creating this reality, right? Because what you attract in your relationships is a co-creation, right? We're not a victim to our circumstances. Part of us has created this and allowed it and has been available for it. So if you're doing behaviors, like if you notice, and I've seen this for my clients before they go through my program as well, it's like the moment that somebody shows interest in them, the moment that they are, the moment they meet somebody, all their boundaries go out the window. Sorry, I'm getting notifications. All their boundaries go out the window. They rush into this relationship. They give all their time, energy, and attention away way too quickly without the man earning it, without him proving himself. And then they're stuck in the same position they were before. I see this all the time. All the time. So it's really important that you recognize these behaviors. You recognize what's not working. Because if this is happening to you, it's not a coincidence. It's not the man's fault. I'm not saying like they have to obviously take responsibility for what they're doing, obviously. But I'm saying like, if you're saying yes to this, like there are toxic men everywhere. I'm just not an energetic match for them. And I haven't been, right? There's going to be toxic men everywhere, no matter where you go. But what is causing the energetic match to them? Is it the need for validation? Is it the need for performance? Is it the need to whatever it is, right? So my point is we want to be unavailable for that. And the way that you be unavailable for that is by saying no to what you don't want, yes to what you do want. That's always going to be the thing. No to what you do, no to what you don't want, yes to what you do want. That's the way that you like beat the system, okay? That's the way that you train the algorithm to work in your favor. Because I know for a fact, like just through my personal experience, the men that I attracted, let's say 8 years ago, the men that I attracted 8 years ago, when I was dating, I was not attracting any of that. I wasn't attracting any toxicity when I was dating the most recent time. And that is because I was not available for it the way that I was back then, right? And so as you raise your energy, as you raise your vibration, as you heal, you're going to be an energetic match for these more high value men, right? But of course, like I said, there's going to be a decoy that's going to kind of like solidify what you're saying. There's going to be a decoy there. So among the better men that you're attracting, this actually just happened to my client like last week. Among the better men that you're attracting, there's going to be a decoy, and it's going to test you, and you're either going to pass or you still haven't learned the lesson, right? And so maybe you're sent a few decoys until the lesson is learned, right? And so that's just what you can expect. So you can ask yourself, is this a decoy or is this the real thing? Am I going to abandon myself, or am I going to behave the way a high value woman that is ready for high value partnership behave, right? So if you're experiencing this, that could be what the block is for you. is the behavior piece of saying no to what doesn't serve you, like saying no to the decoy, saying no to the test. Because the more you say no, the universe is going to be like, okay, she's for real, she's serious. And so then they're going to say, all right, now you're an energetic match for that love, right? So I hope this made sense. This is just like a real quick riff before I hop on my calls. But I just want, as I was writing the post, I was like, I feel like this needs to be said in video form. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know your breakthroughs or your aha moments in the comments, or you can shoot me a DM. All right, everyone, have a fabulous day.